Hey, I'm Garth, I'm the Animation Tutor, and I want to give you a bit of a sense as to how to get into Sheridan's animation program, and more so, what to expect in the upcoming portfolio season. I call September to February when the Sheridan portfolios are due, the Sheridan Animation Portfolio season. And I just want to kind of break down how I would plan these approximately 6 months that you have to prepare for submitting your portfolio. The biggest thing you can do at the beginning is to plan and schedule the actual portfolio throughout the several months that you have to work on it. There is a good handful of very specific assignments that Sheridan wants you to complete to be able to submit a portfolio. And this is easily viewable online, and we've also provided last year's Sheridan portfolio in this blog article as a sample. So there are small features of the portfolio that change each year, but overall, most of the assignments stay exactly the same. Only the specific animation object and the character that is used for the storyboard portion of the portfolio are the two elements that will probably change from year to year. In September, if you're just starting to think about how you want to make your portfolio and the different ideas you have for each of the pieces, now is the time to kind of start to schedule out your month-by-month progress that you want to make. You want to set some goals and keep yourself on track. And even give that schedule to a friend or your parents to help keep you accountable to producing on a regular basis. And honestly, this is often the role that I serve with my students too. I create weekly curriculums for them. On my courses, I have a week-by-week homework that's required that students have to do to receive feedback. So whatever kind of accountability you can create, you want to do that now, starting in September, going all the way to when the portfolio is due in late February. Earlier on in the portfolio season, you might want to consider also mostly focusing on the parts of the Sheridan portfolio that are less likely to change. So don't start the short animation based on the last year's object. Don't start your storyboard based on the last year's character. Begin your personal work. Your personal work you can begin in the summer even before you're actually making your portfolio seriously, or even in grade 11. You could start some of the earlier portfolio assignments as soon as you want, really. The character design, the layouts, the outdoor and indoor drawings, you can begin those whenever you want. It's very unlikely that those will change. Another thing to consider is that you probably want to get started on some of the pieces that are a little bit more difficult for you earlier, so that you can learn all the skills that you need to know before creating the final artwork. Since the Sheridan portfolio is so competitive, it's extremely important to be as clear as possible about all of the different requirements. And also now you should be watching as many of our portfolio interviews that we've had with our past students to get a good sense of what is expected, what is the quality and caliber of artwork created from past students, so that you can know approximately where you need to be successful. But while you're watching those videos, just make sure to realize that you might be thinking that I should create something just like that. And watching the videos is a good sense of what the skill level is that's required, but Sheridan is actually very interested in original takes and original perspectives, different perspectives that are not just those same sort of artworks repeated again and again year after year. I do see a lot of students in my many years of tutoring that create sort of very, very similar artworks to the ones that currently exist. And Sheridan is actually really interested to hear new stories, different takes, different ideas for each of those assignments. And honestly, that's a great way to stand out as well. So if your artwork is both strong and original, then you have an incredible shot at getting in. So one thing that I really try to emphasize with all of my students is to create unique stories and characters in your portfolio. So some students even go so far as to have a theme for their portfolio, to have sort of an overarching story or kind of aesthetic era or mood or some kind of unifying theme that they bring into each one of their works, even though the work is quite varied from character designs to backgrounds. You can still have those different elements be within your own world that you're kind of presenting to them. And I think that can be really appealing. One tip I have about the character rotation is to try not to always feel like you need to depict the main character of the story that you're creating. For your character design, it's sometimes more interesting to pick a secondary or even tertiary character in a typical animated movie, more of an interesting personality that we might find in our world versus just trying to create a main character. Main characters in some animated movies are not always the most interesting looking. And for your position as a student applying to this highly competitive program, your goal should be to create something that is extremely visually interesting, a character that we want to know more about. And sometimes the secondary characters that are usually a little bit more specific, a little bit more zany and sort of a little bit wilder looking, those characters can be more interesting to try and depict than just a main character. It's more interesting to choose a very particular character in the world that we might see. I don't know, a sketchy used car salesman, a tour bus driver, an old embittered surfer, some very, very nuanced, specific character type. The stranger, the better, honestly. I always try to integrate a little bit of oddness, a little bit of strangeness into all of my students' characters because I find it's nice to stand out and be specific rather than to be sort of good but very general. So I hope that's helpful. Please visit our website, book a free portfolio interview where you can send me your artwork directly and I'll give you a sense of what I think and what further steps I would recommend. And also join our Discord. We have an active Discord of so many artists where you can post your artwork for free and get critiques from other artists that are either already in the program or trying to get in. And that's not just for Sheridan, that's for all colleges and universities for animation worldwide. I'm just giving you some of the tips that honestly I wish that I had when I was trying to get into Sheridan. So best of luck, and I hope you get good results come March.